What's up, losers? Today I've got another couple of posts from r/fatlogic to take a gander at and share my thoughts. This is episode 32 of the r/fatlogic series. Let's get right into it.
Hi there, only going to 5x isn't all sizes, or all bodies. Please don't hurt those of you're excluding by saying that you are including all. Especially, since your size chart says your 5x is like 45 inches for a bunch of stuff. That's teeny tiny.
Okay, so, I'm not crazy for thinking that calling 45 inches teeny tiny is bananas, right? Like, by what frame of reference is that teeny tiny? For me it's very, very large. Sometimes I swear these fat activists are actually competing to see who can be the biggest. Like, oh, you thought you were fat at a puny 45 inches. Well, I'm 55 inches, so take that. The main thing that jumps out at me from this post, though, aside from the highly suspect use of teeny tiny, is how potentially self-sabotaging it could be. Like, put yourself in the shoes of this business and imagine being confronted by these messages. Despite your best efforts to appease fat people, you're being told that it's not good enough, and that you have actually done fat people more harm than good by trying to include all sizes. Because if you're not including literally everyone, you can't be considered inclusive at all, I guess. And don't think this is just about the actual size here either. I can almost guarantee you that even if they went up to 55 or 60 inches, there would still be fat activists complaining about it. Because no matter how large you go, there is always going to be someone too fat, and your claim to include all sizes might be upsetting to them. Setting aside that somebody that fat has bigger things to worry about. What kind of message does this send to businesses? To me, it says that it's better to not even try to be inclusive. I would probably just give up on the plus-size game altogether. If I was only going to be attacked for it. And if I did so, fat people would be left with not more but fewer clothing options. I guess it just goes to show that while plus-size clothing is important to fat activists, feeling constantly victimized is a much more fundamental need, and that even if positive reinforcement might be a better strategy to achieve change, it just can't compare to the cathartic rush of smugly lecturing people and morally grandstanding on social media. Haha. Okay, so this next one is a table with two columns. One column is labeled, "It's a hard no," and the other is labeled, "It's a hell yes." So if you're not watching along, visualize that as I read it out.
It's a hard no. Obsessing over food and our bodies, self-control, exercising as punishment for what you ate, talking shit to ourselves, believing nutrition is the end-all be-all to health, having a fixed mindset, believing we are destined to a mediocre life, making weight loss our life's purpose, focusing on what we don't want, food rules, compare and despair, devoting our lives to shrinking our bodies. It's a hell yes. Listening to and trusting our bodies, self-care, joyful movement, daily affirmations that remind us we are freaking awesome, knowing that there's more to health than food/exercise, in bracket stress levels, relationships, career satisfaction, spirituality, etc., having a growth mindset, manifesting a reality better than our wildest dreams, making space to find our purpose, embodying the version of ourselves that has everything we want, food freedom.
Holy moly, what an absolute gold mine. Highlights include self-control being included as a hard no. Because hey, I appreciate a little honesty from time to time. And having a growth mindset being a hell yes. Because like the growing fat. So it works on multiple levels. Haha. Aside from those standout points, what strikes me most about the post is the jarring difference in tone between the two columns. The hard no column is full of unnecessarily negative or frightening descriptions of basic diet habits that greatly exaggerate the actual difficulty, unpleasantness, or mental and emotional investment that they require. It doesn't say, monitoring food intake. It says, obsessing over food. It doesn't say, holding yourself accountable. It says, talking shit to ourselves. It doesn't say, making weight loss a part of one's life. It says, making weight loss one's life's purpose. It assumes that exercise must be done not for any positive reason, but as a punishment for eating. I think you get the idea. All of this contributes to giving one the impression that achieving or maintaining a healthy weight is a totally joyless, painful, or even traumatic process that will basically ruin your life, which, needless to say, I think is a load of hogwash. On the other side of the ledger, we are presented with a much different tale. The harsh words and catastrophizing of the diet side are replaced with flowery, upbeat, and at times weirdly spiritual language that also incorporates its fair share of bogus self-help concepts, which is always great. But yeah, compare the bullet points of joyful movement, daily affirmation that you're awesome, manifesting a reality better than your wildest dreams, etc., to the miserable picture painted by the hard no column. It's night and day. The obvious bias with which the two sides are presented is such that it invalidates the whole comparison in my eyes. The only possible purpose this post could serve is to make people feel better about their self-destructive life choices, by furnishing them with a veneer of wholesome positivity, and by making the alternative seem so scary that they wouldn't dare to even give it a try. So all in all, I think this post is actually pretty toxic. Funny, definitely, but toxic nonetheless.
The fact that we focus on obesity as an epidemic, over malnutrition, poverty, food deserts, and a general lack of access to healthcare for both kids and adults tells you everything you need to know about fat phobia, classism, and capitalism, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. If you want to try to make some point about society, you need to actually articulate your reasoning and provide evidence for your claims. You can't just go blah blah blah, blah 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 capitalism, and expect people to be blown away by your intellectualism. If you've got a point to make it. Oh, what's that? This post is nothing more than a lame attempt to distract from the health crisis of obesity by lazily invoking a bunch of other loosely related issues. Wow, what a surprise. Who knew fat activists could be so cynical? But seriously though, I can't stand this post. Way to take a bunch of real issues that people care about and turn them into props in your ongoing war against personal responsibility. Real cool. And in what world do we focus on obesity more than poverty and healthcare? I certainly agree that more needs to be done to help the poor, and that the provision of healthcare in many parts of the world, including the United States, is insufficient, but it's not as if these are issues that nobody talks about. They appear far more frequently in political debates than obesity does. And on top of that, addressing these problems and fighting obesity are not in any way mutually exclusive. So why even bring them up? Size. If you want people to shut up about obesity, just tell them to shut up about it. Because this pseudo-intellectual drivel is just not it. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's posts and my responses to them. What do you think? Is 45 inches teeny tiny? Is self-control a hard no? Is a growth mindset a hell yes? Do we, in fact, live in a society? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. or I'll manifest a reality better than my wildest dreams. But you won't be invited. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.